Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's Club Express overview for political organizations. I'm Samantha. I'm the Director of Customer Education. I will be helping out today, and I'm joined by Christy, who's going to give you a tour of the system. But first, just a smidge of housekeeping. All of your phones and microphones are muted, so if you have any questions about what you're seeing today, you can go ahead and enter those in the chat. I'll be there to answer your questions live, so you don't have to wait until the end to get any of them answered. Of course, we will have time for some live Q&A at the end before we wrap up, but you can get those questions answered while you think of them. This webinar is being recorded and it'll be available on our YouTube channel later, so you'll be able to review it if you can't stay for the whole webinar or share it with your board or team. Today, Christy is going to give you a really good idea of the capabilities of our system. So if you want to explore more, you can contact our team or explore on your own. And while you're checking out today's demo on our YouTube channel, you can browse our channel for additional tutorials and webinars. We have hundreds of videos covering nearly every corner of our system, and my team constantly adds new and updated content. And of course, you can check out our calendar for upcoming webinars at clubexpress.com/calendar, including webinars hosted by my team, which are free, deep dives into features or topics on your website. So without further ado, I will pass you off to Christy.
Thank you, Samantha. Welcome, everybody. Let me share my screen. So today, yes, we're going to be talking specifically about political organizations and how ClubExpress can help your organization. So ClubExpress, just a little background, is a Chicago-based software company and a provider of association management. It's just a powerful platform that clubs, organizations, associations can use to manage their day-to-day operations and allow members themselves to self-manage. It was founded in 2003 by a group of professionals who saw that there was a need for organizations to be able to manage their membership and activities. It is continuing to grow as the demand for online member management increases. ClubExpress is experiencing significant growth, and with that, they're also always enhancing their software capabilities. There's continuous improvements. We were also given awards by PC Magazine and Capterra and have further solidified its reputation as a trusted provider in the industry. Components of ClubExpress. It is a website. With that website, your club or association can have everything all in one place. But there is also the option, if you currently have a site that you really like, you can use ClubExpress as a member portal off of your main site. There is, with the ClubExpress, you can have a public access, so you can have anybody that is public, non-members, who you'd like for them to learn more about your organization, but without having to get any information that you want for members only to be able to view. And also, if there's public events, you'd be able to share it with them. Allowing your members to log in, and they can get access to membership features, they can access their personal profile, they can access calendars, document libraries, photos, anything that you would like your members to access, but maybe do not want your public to be able to access at that moment. There's also a lot of admin tools. You have administrators who are able to log in. We have several different ways of reporting. You can have financial data reporting. You can update your website content, communications, etc. Some of the features that we will be discussing today, especially for a political group, is you want to be able to have your members to be able to sign up really easily and to join that organization. There is also a member directory, which is behind a login and is kept very private. You can show your event calendars. You can collect donations, which is really important for political organizations. Have committees. You show who's on those committees, interest groups, discussion forums, surveys and polls, show news and articles. You also can have hyperlinks on other pages to maybe it's some government pages for voting, document libraries, video pages, custom pages, storefront, volunteering, etc. So by saying that, let's get started. So what you're seeing again is this is our one of our demo sites. It is not an actual site. We are not going into anyone's a site and looking around. So this is our demo site. But I do want you to imagine, because this is geared for political groups, just imagine that this is for your political group, and then this is your logo, your colors, any information that you want to show to the public and how you want to set that up. But this, you can see I am not logged in. All I am seeing on a non-member basis for public is home. I can also have, like I said, a page set up for hyperlinks. And I have my donations, which you could still accept if they're not members. But once I log in as a member, and I'm also as a full administrator, you're going to see that my menu has changed, and I am able to see more than someone from just the general public or non-members are able to see. So again, if I go over to member shows up, I have a whole list of information as a member that I am able to see in this menu. So for example, while we're in here, let's go to events. So since events are quite important in your groups, you can set up calendars that are for members only, for the public. You just get to decide who sees what on your events. For example, here is a general meeting. This one I have set up so you can make it as easy as a quick event to as held as having conferences and breakout rooms and charging lunch fees. But this is just, you'll see that here is a meeting that is this week. And I don't have any registrants, but I can have a capacity of 50, and then there is a fee. And I would be able to register now to sign up for that event. And I would also be able to add that event to my calendar. You are also able to add volunteer buttons on there. So if you are needing volunteers for a meeting or an event, you would be able to add that link onto that event so people can also volunteer as well. Now, because I am logged in as an admin, a full administrator, I am able to see some things that maybe just a member would not be able to see. So like show admin options. If I am a member and not an admin, I am not going to be able to see the show admin options. I'm not going to be able to mark attendance as well, but I would be able to register volunteer, and I can add it to my calendar. As we go across, and if you're a member, you're also able to access a member directory. You can have that member directory show up. People can have the information that they want shown up on that member directory. And as I go into James Carey, I'm able to see his information. He is able to update it himself. The nice thing about ClubExpress is that your members can manage themselves, and they would be able to log in, and we will do that here shortly, to go in and self-manage themselves, add any kind of biography, etc., if they had blogs. Also with that, you can have committees. As well as committees, you have your board of directors. I would be able to click on that and see who the board of directors are in that committee, or if you have various other committees in your organization. We also have a way that your members can choose interest groups. So when they initially log in, you would have your interest groups listed. And I would be able to go in and say, well, I'm interested as so let's do business networking. I'm interested in networking. I would be able to select those items that I want to be in the interest groups. And by selecting those interest groups, you're able to, for example, segment out forums, which was one of the next things we were going to look at. So your forums, you would be able to chat with each other, especially if it's based on interest groups. So if I'm not a part of an interest group, I am not going to be seeing or getting notifications on that as well. I might be on the general forum, or maybe right here, general conversations. Or if you're in the board of directors, you can have a committee forum, etc. You are able to get those forums when you are looking. Also, we have an extensive document library. So you would be able to pull in any documents you have. You're able to, um, you know, decide who sees what type of documents here. You have your meeting minutes, governances, etc. You are able to set up your own document library. Again, just because, anybody can see donations if you choose for them, if you have different donation, like this said, COVID relief or public relations, you're able to segment those different donation categories for people to be able to make those donations and keep track of how close you are to your goal. Events, we just went over that. Next is links. You're able to create as many pages as you'd like. You can do hyperlinks. So especially with political organizations, I know that there's a lot of information that you want to put out hyperlinks to other sites for information, like register to vote, for example. You were able to put that on there, but you were able to create those pages with those hyperlinks. So as I'm logged in as a Martin Smith, I would like to show you if I'm a member and I log in. This is what we mean by self-management as a member. I am able to go into my own profile and I am able to manage myself as a member. I'm able to look at, if it's just for membership, I'm able to look at my transaction history. I would also be able to look at my event history. I can see, if I wanted to add into other interest groups, I could go and change that as well. If I wanted to add those in, you will see that I'm like, well, now I want mentoring. So I could go in and change that up as well. So members are able to manage themselves, which actually takes off a lot of that work from your executive board who are maintaining the site and give you more time to focus on other things, and the members can, are able to look at their own information. So now that's the front side, the user side, as we like to say. As an admin, though, when I log in, I am able to see control panel. Now with the control panel, that is all of your setup. That is just admin functions, everything that is on the back side that the user will not see. So the first tab that you come to is a dashboard. So you are able to configure your dashboard the way you want to see it. And it is just an overview of everything going on in your site at that time, whether it's members versus non-members, member logins, donations. You are going to be able to see a dashboard of everything going on in your site without, having to go to different segments, running reports. This is just a really quick overview. So the next tab over, as you'll see, we have various tabs that you can in our control panel. So the next tab over is people. So with each one of our tabs in our control panel, one thing I wanted to point out is in each section, you will see that there are sections within that tab. At the bottom is setup. So when you are first setting up your site, this is the section that you will be using at the beginning. Once you have set up, you should not have to go back and touch this section very often at all. And that's the reason that they are sectioned off, because this is what you would use at the beginning. You're going to touch these probably a little bit more often, but not all the time. And this admin functions, the top box are the ones that you are going to be using most of the time once everything has been set up. So under people, we do have membership types. When I go into membership types, you are able to create as many membership types as you would like to create. They can be business memberships, they can be individual memberships. I'm going to go and click on one that's already set up. Again, there are lots of memberships types in here because this is our demo/sandbox site. So other people that are playing around are adding other members, but we're just going to take a look at a few. So when you're setting up your membership type, you'll name your membership type, put a description, and this is where you're going to put the duration of the member. This can be available for new members only, renewals as well. There's a whole list to select from that. And then if you have a charge, Does it require approval? Is it a business membership? So you were setting all of that up initially when you were setting up your various types of memberships. When you also can set up business memberships. So doing a business membership allows a business to pay for that membership, but also allows them to add people from their business, or maybe because this is a political group, maybe it's from one of their organizations that the organizations in a whole is paying for it, and then they're allowing 5. And those people would receive a code that they would be able to log in and set up their profile. Go back to the control panel. Also, besides membership type, we have a renewal and expiration settings, which a lot of organizations get really excited about, because this is one of the issues that some have, is that they just want it automated. They don't want to have somebody to go in and send all these emails out, keep track. So by setting your renewal and expiration settings, you are able to set whether it's a rolling renewal or if everyone renews at the same time. You're setting those settings up at the beginning. And we have system emails. So with those system emails, you can decide when you want to send out your notices in advance. And the negative number just means after expiration. Maybe you send one 5 days after, just to remind those members that they, to renew their membership. So once all of this screen has been set and you save, you do not have to touch that again unless you want to change some of the items in there. But this would automatically go and it sends it out on those dates through our system emails, and you do not have to worry about sending those out. You are also able to, let's say you have a member, but you want them to add attachments to their membership. You can decide what kind of attachments you would like to. This one says, please attach your master's degree. I'm not sure if that's what you would want to attach, but, just for webinar sake, they could add their master's degree when they join in as a member. And then, of course, besides the address, phone number, information like that, you can also ask additional member data. So this is just adding some of these could be courses. Let's go down. Do you want to volunteer? Those would be additional questions that allow you to find out who would want to volunteer and get that, or what are your interests. So you are able to add additional member data onto that membership information. When you get up into, so once you've set up all of your membership types, your renewal expiration settings, everything that pertains to being a member, then over here is your website modules. If you wanted a business directory, you can set, you'll be able to set that up. Let's go look at interest. So we talked about interest before, and I know in political groups, there are a lot of interest groups. So with that being said, you would be able to add all of the interest groups that you would like people to select from. And again, as you see visibility, it says members only, everyone, admins only. So you are able to select who sees that information. So right here where it says visibility, it could say everyone, members only, admins, and member profile. This is really big for privacy because you may not want everyone to see, be able to have business networking if they're not a member. Again, in the people section, you are going to be setting up your volunteering. You also will be adding your committees here, board of directors. This is, if you had education, a committee, fundraising committee, you would be setting those committees up here and adding those people that belong in those committees. Right here where it shows members, I could go in here and I could add members into that committee. Up at admin functions, this allows the admin, if given rights, to people manager. So this would allow you to, for example, if George says, hey, there's some things that need changing. I can't go in there right now. Would you mind changing it? And there's other situations you would be able to, as an admin, to go in there and help update their information if needed, if they're not able to, or maybe it's just an admin function to update that information. But this is where the people manager would come into play, and that's where those could be changed. You also have in each one of these tabs, as we go across, you're going to see reports. So we have various reports, and these reports are just going to pertain to the people as well, but like member information. If you're mailing things out, you can also do mailing labels here as well. A non-member database. We do allow a non-member database in the system. That does not give, you decide you can reach out to them communication wise, but that does not give them membership rights. It's just your database of non-members. And because we were briefly, or I was briefly talking about administration functions, I am going to jump over here to association. So association is, you can call it club, organization, association, but down here under setup, there's administrators and coordinators. So when I go to the screen, just want to clarify what an administrator and a coordinator is. So if you're an administrator of a site, that means you have full rights to everything on the site. So obviously you do not want probably everybody in your, maybe people just on your executive board, but not other people that are getting some sort of admin rights. You do not want to give them admin rights because they have access to everything on your site. But what's nice is we do have coordinator rights. So I'm going to, you can view by a coordinator, or I can view by function. So when I view by function, you are going to see how detailed you can get by assigning coordinator rights. Maybe I am, let's find like communications. Maybe you just want me to be able to do emailings and newsletters. So by doing that, I can go in and add people for coordinator rights just to this emailing. And they're not going to have rights to people manager. They're not going to have rights to any of these other things, just to emailing. So you can get really specific on how, what people see in your organization, especially when it comes to an administrator. That helps keep even more things private. It's also when you're dealing with money, it also keeps people from accidentally maybe changing some things that don't need to be changed. And while we're in this tab for association, again, down here is the setup where you're putting the name, description. You can also put titles of if you have president, vice president, treasurer, etc. You would be able to put the titles of the people in your board. You'd be able to also say, were they a past president maybe, or maybe they're the webmaster. You would be keeping that information as well. So now I'm going to go back to where we were. We were on people. I'm going to go next to website. So with website, again, we're going to start down here with the setup. The setup part is just you're really setting up the look and feel of your site. It's whether you're, your domain. We do have an option, and we can, if you are interested later, you can reach out. You can do a mobile app. There is an extra fee for that mobile app. So like I said, if you have questions regarding that, we can touch on that later. But up here at the top is where you can do your custom pages. And earlier I said that you can create just pages that have hyperlinks on there, because with a political group, there are a lot of links to other sources that you want to give your members, or maybe it's just to your non-members and you want to make it public. But right here would be a really good way of setting up that page or pages to have hyperlinks to other sites as well. Also within the site, you can set up photo albums. So maybe you have an event, maybe it's a fundraising event. You would be able to go in And you could have a page that has your photo albums on there for your members to see, or it could be for public to see. But you're going to go in here and you can have titles of national conference. And I can go in and I can set up and add images for that national conference to be shown, because I probably want to show, especially if it's a fundraiser or, maybe it's the night of elections. We have a special event at, maybe it's a convention center. You can have a photo album show up in your site for showing off those events that you had. Here is also where you're setting up your document library. You can set up your own folders, your own subfolders. If I take a right click on here, I can add edit folder, add subfolders, and I can view the documents on those as well. Just to let you know, there is also unlimited storage. So there is a file size, but you are allowed to, there's unlimited storage as far as your document library photo album. Again, you're going to see reports in your admin functions. You will be able to see website traffic, website security as well. Let's go over to the next one, which is money. This is just where you're going to be keeping tabs on your transactions. You can set up a storefront as well. So on that storefront, you might be selling mugs and buttons and t-shirts. You can set up a storefront to be able to, and keep inventory, sorry. You can keep inventory, take payment, keep track of that inventory as well. You set up your bank accounts here. This is all in the setup part, and this is your initial setup, and you shouldn't have to touch that again for a while at least. Next over is association. So again, we're coming back to what we were talking about earlier, which is administrators and coordinators. The association again, or you can call it your organization. You can title that how you would like. Up here at the top where it has admin functions, you can have your data export. You can also run reports as well. So if you need organization data, again, you can do like hierarchy information. There are around 500 reports in our system that are for your use. Next over is communications, which is one of the biggest parts of a political group, is also communications. You're wanting to keep in constant contact with your members or your non-member database. In here is very dynamic. You are able to set up emailings, whether it is just a basic email. And actually, I am going to go back and I'm going to show you. I'm going to add an email. If you are somewhat familiar with, let's say, a Constant Contact or MailChimp, it'll look somewhat similar to you. Very easy to use. You can set up your own templates, and all you're going to do is drag and drop them in. You can create as many distribution lists as you want. So maybe it's certain interest groups. Maybe you're just going to email out to one interest groups or several interest groups. You are able to create as many distribution lists as you want to select from to send that email/newsletter out. I can also edit my basics, which is you put your subject. I can track how many have opened. I can also send this out later. If I want to create this 2 weeks from now and make sure that it gets sent out, I can schedule that to be sent out. You also are able to keep track of news and articles. Again, very important to political organizations. So when you create, you have these news articles, you are able to actually pull them in to your, I believe it's under nationals. Let's go here. Here, forgive me, there was a news page that has seemed to be, oh, there it is. So I'm going to go back. This is the user side again. But when you have news and articles, you are able to create, pages, however you want them to show up, for articles to show up for people to read. So this one is a legislative update. I can click on that and I can see the news here, and you're able to keep all of that on one page as well. You're able to do blogs. We also have surveys, polls that you can create. I know at this time of the year, it might be very important to have several surveys out there to your group. Again, members only can take those surveys. You can do polls, you can make them anonymous, however you want to set them up. Let me look at this one. So let's go to new member procedures. So members only, the status is closed, but this is where you can make them active in active test mode or closed. And here it says, do you want to allow people to respond anonymously? It can be optional, not allowed, or required. So again, you have lots of choices when setting those up, especially some that you do want to keep anonymous from everyone else. Forms, again, this you can create as many forms as you'd like. You can keep it to members. You will see different membership types. It can be segmented to interest groups. What's nice about these forums is when people are responding to those forums, it will go to your email. So let's go look at a general conversation. Oh, I'm just going to click on Investing 101, and you will see that there are 3 posts, 18 views. And the last post was a very long time ago. But people can come in and respond to those posts. It will send to their email. If they respond through their email, it will post back into that forum. We also have ad hoc forms. Ad hoc forms are just forms, whether it's maybe you're wanting to send a form to just, let's see, maybe there's a submission, or let's look down here for one that is maybe a scholarship application. You could create a scholarship application using our ad hoc forms. And then here when you are setting that up, this is the information that you are wanting shown on that scholarship form. And this is what people would be filling out. And again, you would make it available to members, or if it's for student scholarships, maybe they aren't a member, however you want that to be seen. So again, just going back, that there's lots of different ways of communication. So like I said, with political groups, this tab is probably going to be one, besides membership, it's going to be one of your most important because of the communication, keeping people updated on new legislation, news articles, etc. This is the best way to keep everyone engaged, to keep everyone informed, and to keep them. It also helps keep and retain your memberships. We also have a tab here for support. Besides reaching out to our support, which we have an amazing support team, they are able to answer your questions. We do have lots of videos, as Samantha said. There's a lot of videos, there's help articles, and anytime that you are in the control panel there, you will see there are question marks that will take you directly to the place in our help articles that on the page that you are currently on. That will give you the information if you have questions about how certain things have been set up. Samantha, have we had any questions come in yet?
Yes, actually, we had a couple of questions come through. So the first question, and I'll handle this one. The first question is, what is the difference between interests and committees? So Christy did an amazing job highlighting the interests, which, like you said, really, really important for political organizations. So, an interest is kind of a behind the scenes power horse for your entire website. You're able to use interests to as it says, gauge your member interest and use those around your site. So you can use interests as the basis for starting a new committee. You can use your interests as distribution lists when you're sending out blast emails. You can create events that are open to a specific interest group only, or you can create events where people of a particular interest group maybe have special pricing. There are a lot of different ways to use interest across your site. Christy also mentioned, taking a moment to configure your member sign up. Interests are something that you can collect at sign up. So when you have someone joining your organization for the first time, you can capture what they're interested in right when they start, which is not just great for the life of your organization, but it's also really great to, kind of gauge, why are people joining my organization in the first place? Is there something really piquing their interest right when they click that join button? Committees, on the other hand, are those more formal working groups that you already maybe have within your organization, like your board of directors, your membership committee, charitable works committee. And you can also, of course, have subcommittees of each of those, but your committees are those formal working groups. They can, of course, maybe be an informal group that you're creating, but those committees are maybe groups that are actually doing work within your organization. Whereas those interest groups are really just your way of digitally corralling some of your members, is the way that I like to put it. And another question that came up was about payments. Can members pay for things on the site? So you had mentioned there was a storefront, and there's a quick question about whether or not we could handle payments on the site. And the answer is yes. So you are able to accept payments on your website for anything that you sell on your website and your storefront. Events that may have a fee associated with them. You can accept donations on your website and, of course, collect the money from that as well. Your membership dues, any extra fees that you might charge. Maybe there's an initiation fee as part of your joining process. All of that can be collected and tracked on your website. You can accept credit card payments. You can, of course, accept check and cash payments, and your treasurer is able to apply those to your website. But you do have a lot of additional options for payment.
Yeah, and one
And
thing
oh, yes.
I wanted to add to that, which I had completely forgot about, is then also if a member, when I had logged in, there was not a you owe a payment, but you can have a banner pop up if someone, let's say that they order something or they're paying for an event, but maybe it's later. You can have an option to have a banner pop up that says that you have a payment due. Also, there would be a little red dollar sign here if Martin Smith had any amount due as a payment.
Yes, great point. That's a really great way to make sure that you're able to collect all of the money for everything on your site. Another question was, is there a limit to the number of pages that you can create or items that you can have on your menu? So there isn't a limit to the number of custom pages that you can create for your website. So Christy created a few pages just for our demo site today, and there were already a bunch of pages on our demo site for other demonstrations. There, again, is not a limit to the number of custom pages that you can create. Now, certainly you don't maybe want to have hundreds of pages that you're linking to on your menu. You might retire some of those pages, but you'll never need to delete content simply because you've run out of room on your site. And you also can add as many items as you want to your menu. So Christy's showing you now a sub menu. You can create sub menus, mega menus to keep your full website menu nice and tight. So you'll see that the website that we're looking at has a more sleek and modern look. It has a nice small and short website menu. So we've utilized submenus and mega menus to maybe keep all of those member items in one menu and keep it easily identifiable for your members who might be signing in. And then Christy mentioned something, she's mentioned it a lot in our demo that you have a lot of choices as to what's visible to members and what's visible to the general public. So you can have a completely separate menu that the public sees and another menu that members see when they sign in. So that's where, controlling that access of those features comes into play. So maybe your members can't navigate to that, or excuse me, the public can't navigate to that member menu, but they can certainly see that link to donate. Maybe they can see extra links that you want to share with the general public to get the word out about some of your issues or your initiatives in your community. So, a lot of options there. Well, it looks like we don't have any more questions right now.
Okay.
Christy, if you'd like to say a few closing words for us.
Absolutely. Just want to thank everyone for joining today. This will be recorded. If you have any further questions, you can feel free to reach out to us. Um, I had a slide that had my info, but I don't now. So, Samantha, what's the best way of getting that out?
I will go ahead and drop a link to that in the chat right
Thank
now.
you. Thank you so much because that did not come up on my slide. So if you have any further questions or would like to schedule a demo to really go more in depth on, maybe you have more questions about member sign up or communications, or just want to see go in a little deeper on a few other things on the panel, I would love to do a demo for you and your organization to be able to go through that.
Thank you so much, everyone. And as Christy mentioned, a recording of this will be available in just a few days on our YouTube channel. Thank you for joining us. Have a great day, and we'll catch you all soon. Bye bye.
Thank y'all.